This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is 5 o'clock here on your Friday morning. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Nicole Griffin. Here's what's making headlines on this May 22nd. With much of the state now in stage 3 of the Governor Holcomb's back on track reopening plan, some businesses couldn't wait to welcome back customers. We're talking to one local gym that did just that at 12:01 this morning.
Whew. And more Indiana colleges and universities are working on plans for the fall semester. How IU and Butler plan to welcome students back and staff safely.
And at Indianapolis, man is helping people in rural areas become more tech savvy and helping them start their own businesses. The skills he's teaching that are more important now than ever before. But first, we need to get a check of your Storm Team 6 forecast. Meteorologist Todd Claassen standing by. And Lauren, I think we all are very excited for this weekend's forecast.
Yes, I'm just excited for a little bit of a warm-up. Todd, we're getting towards the end of May. Normally, this would be race weekend. What do you have for us as we head into Friday?
You know, we're starting to warm things up, and we're really going to jump from what have been below normal temperatures. Yesterday, we were in the 60s, about 10 to 12 degrees below normal, all the way well above normal. The highs in the mid to upper 80s by the time we get to the latter half of this holiday weekend. Today's kind of that transition day, and as we bring in some of this warm air, take a look at this patchy fog that's settling into some locations. Visibility is down to a quarter of a mile right now in Bloomington. That's a significant drop just in the last 30 to 45 minutes, and these visibility issues will continue to be around throughout much of the morning. They should be pretty spotty, but if you do have to get on the roadways, just be a little bit careful and know that it's a possibility that you'll encounter some of this fog. 50s and 60s here this morning for your current temperatures, with the satellite radar picture here showing not much in the way of any moisture. There could be a little bit of patchy drizzle out there. It's not completely out of the question. And as we work our way throughout the day today, morning clouds will give way to some sunshine here later on this afternoon. With that sunshine, temperatures will be climbing up into the low 70s. The 80s return tomorrow. More on that and the rest of the holiday weekend coming up in just a little bit. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look at traffic right now. This is in the downtown area at I-65 and I-70 at the South Split, where you can see things are traveling up to speed, but that ramp system you see right in front of us going across your screen, that's from eastbound 70 to northbound I-65. That area is closed. The eastbound lanes of 70 now officially closed between Ronald Reagan Parkway and the South Split downtown. You'll need to avoid that spot. The collector ramp to 465 coming off 70 is still open, so you can use that. You can also use streets like Washington Street to reroute this morning. Of course, we'll keep you updated. That project's set to last through June 28th.
Well, today, much of the state will enter stage 3 of Governor Holcomb's back on track plan. Here are a few highlights that you need to know. Social gatherings of up to 100 people will now be allowed. Restaurant dining rooms can remain open at 50% capacity. Retail stores in malls will be allowed to operate at 75% capacity. Gyms and fitness studios can reopen with restrictions. Community pools, campgrounds, and state park inns may open again. Stage 3 goes into effect today, and that does not include Marion, Cass, Monroe, and Lake counties.
And some establishment owners so excited they opened at exactly 12:01 this morning. Yeah, that's what Barkus Fitness did up in Fishers, and that's where we find our own Alyssa Donovan this morning. Alyssa, they're really hitting the ground running. Why did they decide to open so early?
That's right, Lauren. So the owner tells me that she has clients that usually work out at those crazy hours like midnight and 1 a.m. So she wanted to make sure that since everyone else was going to get their workouts in this Friday, that they were able to as well. So they went ahead and they opened exactly at 12:01 this morning. And we have seen a few people filtering in right now as well. So people are excited to get back into the gym today. Owner Amanda Barkus spent the day on Thursday preparing for her gym to reopen after its 2-month closure. Thanks to the space that they have, they were able to move their workout equipment to a safe distance apart so that they don't have to rope off every other machine like some gyms are having to do. The gym staff will be sanitizing areas like shower rooms after every person and cleaning equipment throughout the day. Barkus says their decision to open right away was met with positivity from their clients.
Kind of excited. I think everyone is, looking forward to just being back in the gym and seeing their friends again, even if that means, social distancing.
And the gym is running a special right now for those whose regular gyms may not be open quite yet. A 3-month membership for $150. And staff at the gym will be wearing face masks. However, at this time, Barkas says it is optional for the people that are coming in to work out. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. There are a couple of changes from the original Stage 3 plan that the governor announced on May 1st. Movie theaters and playgrounds had been projected to open but will remain closed. Movie theaters are projected to open along with other entertainment facilities and venues during Stage 4. Playgrounds are yet to be determined. Stage 3, as it applies to the majority of the state, is tentatively scheduled to last through June 13th.
Even though Marion County will not be entering Stage 3 today, restaurants will be allowed to open for outdoor dining. Work began overnight on Broad Ripple Avenue to get the road set up. That street will be blocked off from the Monon Trail to College Avenue. Downtown Mass Ave will be closed from its intersection with College to New York and Delaware Streets. Georgia Street will be blocked off from Pennsylvania to Illinois Street, and Illinois Street will be closed from Georgia to Market Street. The southern half of Monument Circle will also be closed. Officials say the street closures will provide the space needed for social distancing. The closures are expected to last until the July 4th weekend.
Taking a look at the numbers right now, the number of reported COVID-19 cases and deaths have both increased. The state is reporting 48 more deaths and 676 more cases of the coronavirus. The total number of cases is now at 29,936. While there have been 1,764 deaths, the positive rate the positive testing rate, that is, continues to fall. It's currently at 14.7%, so that's a decrease from a few days ago. Nearly 203,000 Hoosiers have been tested for the virus so far.
More Indiana universities are announcing their plans for the fall semester. Thursday, both IU and Butler revealed their reopening strategies. Both schools have measures to test students, faculty, and staff. IU says it will utilize its partnership with IU Health to screen symptomatic members of the IU community. That will begin on June 1st. The school says it will reopen in phases and has formed a restart committee to submit more detailed plans, which will be presented by May 26th. Butler plans to reduce class sizes, the number of people in residential housing, dining rooms, and other campus spaces. A Carroll County farmer and Purdue grad is working hard to help young people from rural villages become more tech savvy and give them the skills they need to potentially start their own business. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us this morning breaking down the details on this free summer program. Kelsey.
Neil Milet has a passion to make sure everyone, especially children, have the opportunity to realize their full potential and explore every avenue that's open for them. That's why he started the Rural Innovative Network. It's a free summer program he's putting on virtually because of COVID-19. During the program, kids from 3rd to 12th grade will learn how to code, plus they'll get to hear from inspirational speakers every single week.
And living in the rural community, obviously, your access to people who are doing innovative things all over the world is sometimes limited to, your hometown. When people join this ecosystem, they're not just joining the summer program, but it's truly an opportunity to network and collaborate with world-class organizations.
This free program kicks off on Monday, and to sign up, all you have to do is go to ruralcoding.org. I'm Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
All right, thank you there, Kelsey. As we go throughout the day today, we're going to start to bring in the warmer temperatures across the area. And as this warmer air starts to come in, we are going to be dealing with the potential for some patchy, dense fog across the area. And that fog has settled in now into some southern locations already this morning. You notice Bloomington, the visibility is down to 0.3 of a mile, down to 0 visibility right now in Cloverdale. So that will impact I-70 as you work your way through parts of Putnam County. And then visibility is reduced a little bit down towards Seymour and the Versailles area as well as North Vernon. So just be aware that there is some patchy fog that's starting to develop across the area. The clouds are in place across most of central Indiana this morning, but the rain is staying off to the east. As this warmer air comes in, there could be a little bit of patchy drizzle, but I don't think we can expect anything more than that throughout the day today. And eventually, look at these high temperatures into the 70s. We are jumping into a full-time summer pattern over the weekend. More on that coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. A major change in the case against Lori Loughlin and her husband as they pleaded guilty to charges against them in a college admissions scandal. Coming up, the punishment they're now facing.
New Zealand has launched a new app to make contact tracing easier. What experts are saying about the digital diary. It's 5:10. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. Stay with us.
Vet tonight at 9/8 Central on ABC.
Well, new details this morning on the suspected terror attack at a naval station in Texas. Overnight, we learned the name of the alleged gunman as investors search for a possible second accomplice. ABC's Alex Perche has the details.
This morning, new details on the gunman investigators say carried out a suspected terror attack at the naval station in Corpus Christi, Texas. He's now identified as Adam Al-Sali, but officials overnight not confirming any other details about his identity. Investigators said they were searching for another individual, saying Al-Sali may not have acted alone.
We would encourage the public to remain calm. And if you see something, say something.
On Thursday, the suspect sped through a gate on the base, then reportedly pulled out a handgun and fired. One sailor was shot in the chest, but she escaped serious injury thanks to a bulletproof vest. Authorities say other security guards then opened fire, killing Al-Sali.
We have determined that the incident this morning at the Naval Air Station Corpus Christi is terrorism related.
U.S. authorities have been concerned that extremists may try to launch attacks while the country is preoccupied with coronavirus.
Federal authorities have been warning local police that potential mass killers, from white supremacists to Islamic radicals, may see the coronavirus crisis as optimal timing for an attack.
Thursday's attack coming just days after investigators reported a link between al-Qaeda and the Saudi military trainee who killed 3 Americans at the naval base in Pensacola, Florida last year. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
Alex, thank you. The man who recorded the fatal shootings of Ahmaud Arbery is now behind bars. William Roddy Bryan Jr. witnessed the deadly encounter between Arbery and the 2 alleged shooters on February 23rd. Bryan was arrested Thursday, according to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. He was in a vehicle behind the pickup truck being driven by one of the suspects, but maintains he was not involved in the incident. One of the suspects, Gregory McMichael, allegedly told police that Bryan tried to help them stop Arbery earlier. Bryan faces charges of felony murder and criminal attempt to commit false imprisonment.
Actress Lori Loughlin and her husband Massimo Giannulli have agreed to plead guilty to conspiracy charges for their role in the college admissions scam. The couple is accused of paying $500,000 to get their 2 daughters into the University of Southern California as fake crew team recruits. They had pleaded not guilty and moved to dismiss the charges. Under the plea deal, Loughlin, who will get 2 months in prison, a $150,000 fine that is, and 2 years of supervised release with 100 hours of community service. Giannulli will get 5 months in prison, a $250,000 fine, 2 years of supervised release with a 250 hours of community service. They are scheduled to be in court this morning at 11:30.
President Trump has ordered flags to be lowered to half staff across the country in honor of coronavirus victims and members of the military. He made the announcement on Twitter Thursday. The president says the flags on all federal buildings and national monuments will be lowered over the next 3 days. The move comes after House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer requested for flags to be lowered when the virus death toll in the U.S. reaches 100,000. As of this morning, the death toll stands at more than 94,000.
New Zealand has launched its coronavirus tracking app to make contact tracing easier. It acts as a digital diary of sorts. QR codes will be available for users to scan at businesses and public areas in order to keep track of their movements. But the app isn't completely finished yet. An update is planned for June, and it will be the most crucial aspect, allowing users to submit their data and be alerted if they've come in contact with someone who tested positive for the virus. Experts say while the app is easy to use, there are still some bugs to work out.
A Wisconsin fire department is warning people about the dangers of leaving hand sanitizer in their vehicles on a hot day. Take a look at these pictures. In a Facebook post showing a burned out car door, the Western Lakes Fire District explained that most hand sanitizers are alcohol based, which makes them flammable. And that means a fire could happen when direct sunlight causes a magnification of light through the bottle, causing it to catch fire. The fire district also warned of the risks of leaving clear water bottles in cars on a warm day. It is 5:17. Let's get another check your Storm Team 6 forecast with Todd. Todd, as people are heading out the door, it feels pretty nice on this Friday.
Yeah, you know, it's not bad here, Nicole, and we are jumping full-fledged into a very warm summer-like pattern over the course of the next couple days. We really haven't had to talk about humidity. We definitely haven't had to talk about temperatures in the mid-80s so far this spring. In fact, I think only 2 days so far this spring we've touched 80 degrees, and it was just a day here and a day here. Well, we're about to string that all together in a big-time way over the course of this holiday weekend. Outside right now, this is a live look in Bloomington, where the official reading from the airport keeps the visibilities down below 1 mile, but as you look across campus here, we're not in bad shape. Of course, the airport there in Monroe County, just down the western side of town, so it obviously could be a little bit different. And here are those visibility readings: 0.3 of a mile officially at the airport in the Bloomington. It's zero visibility up in the Cloverdale area, and then 3.9 miles in Columbus. So anytime you're over 1 mile, you're in decent shape. So most people are okay right now with the fog, but these visibilities have been dropping this morning, so that's something we'll have to keep an eye on for you. And the visibilities have dropped where the temperatures are a little bit cooler. They're a little bit cooler because the clouds have broken apart just a little bit, and that's why that fog has settled in. It's 58 right now in Greenfield with no visibility issues, 60 degrees in Muncie. So we're dry. We just have these clouds in place across most of the area with just a few breaks, and these rain showers, we're kind of in between everything today. They're off to the east, they're off to our south, but those storms to the south, there's the warmer air starting to work its way in. By this afternoon, look at our temperatures. We're into the mid-70s for just about everybody. We'll go from mostly cloudy this morning to some sunshine filtering through the clouds later on this afternoon. Then overnight tonight, temperatures will stay in the 50s and 60s, and at 9:30 tomorrow morning already right around 70 degrees in some locations. By the time we get to tomorrow afternoon, high temperatures should be climbing up into the low to mid 80s, and then just cooling off into the 70s tomorrow evening. With the warmth will also come the chance of storms. This is TrueCast for today. Today, not much of a rain chance. There could be a quick passing shower this afternoon, but nothing more than that. And then tomorrow's definitely not a washout. As we quickly run through Saturday here, you see we deal with partly cloudy skies, some hazy sunshine, and then in the afternoon hours, we'll start to just build in some isolated storms, and that will be a pretty consistent theme going forward in your 7-day planning forecast. Each and every day as we deal with this heat and humidity building in, there will be the chance of some storms, probably a little more numerous as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday of next week, but most of those driven by the daytime heating. There's a lot of dry hours mixed in as well each one of those days, but look at that stretch of 87 degrees starting on Memorial Day into the middle of next week. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look right now at traffic. So we did this traffic alert to warn you about. This is a change that went into effect early this morning. You can see on the right side of your screen all the traffic being diverted off the eastbound lanes of I-70. This is a look near Ronald Reagan Parkway. You won't be able to continue eastbound here on 70 between Ronald Reagan Parkway and the South Split. That is completely shut down through June 28th for a major construction project. Again, it just went into effect today, so this is the first morning you'll have to deal with those changes. We do have the 465 collector ramp still open through that area, and you can reroute using that. Roads like Washington Street that run along about the same area, so keep that in mind. Give yourself some extra time so you can get used to taking your detour route.
Half of Facebook's workforce could be remote by 2030. CEO Mark Zuckerberg said Thursday the number is more a guess than a goal. He says some workers are expressing a desire to keep working from home even after the pandemic ends, and Facebook will try to make that happen for some of them. Zuckerberg says the company will also hire people from remote locations. He says getting input from people who live in different places could bring fresh perspectives. Zuckerberg adds that about a quarter of workers will return initially when its offices reopen. And scientists in Antarctica made an unusual discovery while studying penguins, coming up the strange effect the animal's droppings have on the environment.
And some people are having a hard time coping during the pandemic. So next at 5:30, what experts say you can do to improve your mental health. It's 5:22. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Park officials in one California city are making sure visitors keep their distance. As you see right here, visitors at the Dolores Park in San Francisco saw this new design for the park on Thursday. Crews painted huge white circles on the grass. The circles are supposed to help groups who are not in the same household keep 6 feet apart. The mayor threatened to shut down the park earlier this month after crowds failed to maintain social distancing. The new look comes just in time for Memorial Day weekend.
Looks like aliens have visited Earth.
It does.
All right, well, the next story is a laughing matter. Scientists say there's a lot of laughing gas in penguin poop. Researchers monitored king penguins on Antarctic Island, and they also studied their poop called guano. When they say it hits the ground, it reacts with the soil and creates nitrous oxide. The laughing gas is emitted, and it was so high one researcher reportedly went completely cuckoo while studying it for a few hours. The scientists say they're going to have to do more studies on how penguin poop might impact the environment.
Alrighty then.
Didn't know that? There you go, on a Friday. All right, Todd, let's get a check of our forecast. I don't know if the forecast is a laughing matter. It's been pretty sad this whole week so far.
It has been sad, and the things you learn on a Friday morning at 5:26 here on Good Morning Indiana, right? As we go throughout the day today, we're finally going to start to build in the warmth we've been talking about all week long. We're starting off, though, with a little bit of patchy fog. That was the view in Bloomington, where the visibilities are reduced just a bit. And we definitely have quite a bit of cloud cover here throughout the morning hours. But as we progress into the afternoon hours, those clouds should thin for some hazy sunshine. And once we get into that sunshine, look how the temperatures respond. 70s today, but 80s return tomorrow. We'll talk about that holiday weekend forecast for you coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 5:27.
Show today at 10 on RTV6. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
This morning, the Hoosier State will move to the third stage of reopening. Or live as many businesses reopen for the first time in months.
The number of child abuse reports in Indiana is down, while child advocates say that may not be a good thing in how they're trying to protect kids in Indiana. Thanks so much for joining us and starting your Friday with us here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Nicole Griffin.
And I'm Lauren Casey. Nicole, it's great to have you with us again this Friday. Todd Clausen is standing by with a check of our Friday forecast as we head into the Memorial Day weekend. And Todd, I do have a request. We have a Casey family cookout tonight, social distancing style. And they texted me last night in the family group text and said, tell Todd we need good weather. So that's your
All right. Well, I think that was just an invite as well. I might have to be on the other side of the fence or the bushes,
yeah.
But I think you'll be in great shape here this evening for your cookout, or if anybody else is doing anything this evening. It's not going to be the brightest afternoon. We'll get some hazy sunshine in here, but definitely a lot warmer. So what do you need to grab before you go as you get going on this Friday morning? Well, I'll check the sunglasses off for you, but just know that you don't need those sunglasses this morning. It's later on this afternoon that you'll need them as we get into a little bit of hazy sunshine and the skies start to brighten just a little bit. You may be squinting, and a light jacket may be required this morning with temperatures that are in the 50s, but it's not super cold. Fog is an issue in some areas. Bloomington, a quarter mile up towards Cloverdale into the Greencastle area. Visibilities are reduced a bit as well. Temperatures currently sitting in the 50s and 60s across the area. The good news is radar is quiet. There could be a little bit of patchy drizzle as some of this warmer air comes in, but shouldn't be anything more than that. And then temperatures by this afternoon, Lauren, they'll be climbing up into those low to mid 70s.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look right now in the downtown area at traffic. Overall, everything's traveling up to speed. The only issue that you're going to run into as you're trying to get to downtown from the west side are those eastbound lanes of I-70 are now closed. We have been warning you about this, but it's a long-term project through June 28th, so you'll need to reroute and use a different part for your commute if you come in from the west side, usually on 70. You can use the collector ramp to 465 there on the south side, though. We'll continue to keep you updated on any other issues you may run into this Friday.
Most of Indiana is now in stage 3 of the state's back on track reopening plan, and that means social gatherings can include up to 100 people. Community pools and campgrounds can open. Retail stores and malls can be open now at 75% capacity, and gyms and fitness centers can open with restrictions. Marion, Cass, Monroe, and Lake counties are not moving into stage 3 with the rest of the state.
Yeah, and in Marion County, personal service service businesses like salons and barbershops still can't open, and indoor dining, it's not allowed. Both are restricted until at least June 1st. But starting today, Marion County restaurants will be allowed to open outdoor dining areas. And we can tell you one gym owner was so excited to open her doors today that she did it the minute it was allowed at exactly 12:01 a.m. Alyssa Donovan is joining us live this morning outside of Barkus Fitness in Fishers. Alyssa, a busy morning already there, I'm sure.
That's right. So we've seen a few people walking into the gym this morning, obviously excited to get back into a somewhat normal routine. And the owner says her decision to open the exact minute that she was able to was met with a lot of positivity from her clients. And she's expecting more people will be coming to the gym as they continue to have their doors open over the next couple days. Owner Amanda Barkus says it's been a challenge for their business to be closed the past 2 months, and they're excited to get people back in the gym. They have made some adjustments to keep clients safe while they work out. Staff will be disinfecting throughout the day, and shower rooms will be desanitized after each person. They're also leaving large rollaway doors open inside the gym to allow for better airflow. Barkus says they also moved some equipment and floor setup to accommodate.
We were spacing everything out as much as possible so that I don't have to rope off every other piece of equipment.
Staff at the gym will also be wearing face masks, but as of now, they are optional for those people coming in to work out. And since some gyms are not reopening quite yet, Barkus is offering a membership for people who want a temporary place to work out. They probably want to return to their original gym, and that discount is going to be 3-month membership for $150. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. A reminder, multiple streets are being closed off to vehicle traffic so that restaurants have more space to seat customers in Marion County. Work began overnight on Broad Ripple Avenue to get the roads set up. That street will be blocked off from the Monon Trail to College Avenue. Downtown Mass Ave will be closed from its intersection with College to New York and Delaware Streets. Georgia Street will be blocked off from Pennsylvania to Illinois Street, and Illinois Street will be closed from Georgia to Market Street. The southern half of Monument Circle will also be closed. Officials say the street closures will provide the space needed for social distancing. The closures are expected to last until the July 4th weekend. The pandemic is causing a major concern for child advocacy centers. Over the last few months, they have seen the number of child abuse reports drop. During the pandemic, calls to the state's child abuse and neglect hotline are down more than 40% compared to April of 2019. That is why Susie's Place, a child advocacy center, developed a partnership with 7 local schools to reach children at home through e-learning. The executive director says just because reports have dropped doesn't mean child abuse is not happening. Plainfield Community School Corporation is one of the districts they are working with to reach students.
The key people who make the reports, schools, community members, churches, daycare, are not seeing kids. So we started thinking within our corporation, what can we do to just get the message out that we are the eyes?
We want those teachers to inquire about that, ask explicitly about, are you safe at home? Is there something that we need to talk about? Do you need help? And explore that with their students and let their students know, I as a teacher am a safe, trusted adult, and I'm here to help you.
At Susie's Place, their cases declined from 139 cases in April of 2019 to only 36 cases in April of 2020. Plainfield schools are now out for the summer, but their feeding program resumes on June 1st. And at that time, they will continue pushing safety messages to children and letting them know that counselors are available all summer long. The Rebound Indiana is our initiative at WRTV, connecting you to advice and resources you can use to cope with the impacts of the pandemic. And one of the issues facing Hoosiers is mental health.
That's why Dr. Virginia Kane, the director of the Marion County Public Health Department, joined other health experts for this virtual town hall last night. Now, the goal was to provide resources to women, particularly African Americans, who are facing mental health issues. Dr. Kane says Black women may feel extra pressure or stress because of the disproportionate impact the coronavirus has had on Indiana's African American population. The panel says one of the most important things women can do is to take care of themselves first.
Self-caring is, there's something I want, is important for me to have. It may hurt you. That's not my intent. but I'm going to do that thing for me.
The panel also discussed ways you can maintain your mental health during this time. That includes things like sticking to a routine and taking advantage of technology.
Making a schedule is really important. Everyone does better with structure, and so make a schedule, even if it includes things like watching TV or meditation, because if we just let our emotions dictate what happens, I think that we find ourselves feeling a bit unmoored.
And of course, there are a lot of apps available to us now, the app Calm, the app Headspace. Mindfulness has just gotten to be a really important part of our integration.
Well, you can find a link to the full discussion on the IndyChannel.com.
A Carroll County farmer and Purdue grad is working hard to help young people from rural villages become more tech savvy and even give them skills to start their own business. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us this morning with more on this free summer program. When you live in a small rural community, it can be hard to get education and experiences outside the general classroom. And for Neil Milet, he wants to make sure that kids from his community get to have more opportunities than he did growing up.
And living in a rural community, obviously, your access to people who are doing innovative things all over the world is sometimes limited to, your hometown.
Neil Milet has always wanted to be an inventor, but he didn't realize his potential and the endless possibilities until he got to college.
When you live in a small town, you don't have those opportunities or those resources right at your doorstep like you do in college.
That's why he created the Rural Innovative Network.
So my passion for this project is to create an ecosystem that's both in person and virtual, where we can bring people and resources together to help folks realize their potential is truly great.
Because of COVID-19, the Rural Innovative Network is going online, and Milet is making it free to any child in Indiana.
This summer, we're starting off with 2 primary programs. The first one is the virtual coding.
Participants will learn how to code from Purdue students, and the other part of the program is a hefty inspirational speaker lineup.
We've been part of the Rural Innovation Network from the beginning, and I'd say our part mainly is to connect our local employers and students with some really great resources that you wouldn't normally find in our small rural communities.
Julia Leahy is with the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce. She says this network is a passion project for the community.
So if there's ever been a time that a kid is interested in starting their own business, or they've had this great idea and didn't know what to do with it.
Milet believes where you live shouldn't determine who you become.
They shouldn't have to determine their level of opportunity based on who lives next door, or is the library open today.
This free program starts on Monday, and it's targeted to kids in 3rd to 12th grade. For more information, go to ruralcoding.org. I'm Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
All right, thank you, Kelsey. Today's one of those opportunities where you probably could get outside and work on the patio if you choose to do so, as we've kind of going to turn things around and warm things up just a little bit throughout the day today. We're starting off with some clouds and a little bit of patchy fog, but we'll thin those clouds for some sunshine this afternoon. And once we get into that sunshine, temperatures will be climbing up into the 70s. Now, I've been getting lots of messages on social media, and I've seen things on social media about, it's going to rain all weekend long. That is not the case. When you just look at those apps on the phone and it shows a thunderstorm icon, that does not mean it is going to rain the entire weekend. That's a logarithm. If there's any chance of rain, it's going to show that. And there are chances today. They're very small. Tomorrow, it's just a slight chance. Those rain chances do become more numerous as we get into Memorial Day itself. We'll break them down for you coming up in full weather in just a little bit.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Memorial Day weekend is the unofficial start of summer, but this year it's going to look a lot different. Coming up, how celebrations across the country are being impacted by COVID-19. The time now is 5:42 on your Friday. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Experience Airwick Essential Mist.
Welcome back. There are more than 95,000 confirmed coronavirus-related deaths in the U.S., according to Johns Hopkins University. All 50 states have started the reopening process, and some fear that could kickstart a rise in cases. And the pandemic is going to play a factor with Memorial Day holiday. John Lawrence has more.
Memorial Day weekend is the unofficial start of summer, but this isn't going to be the typical holiday weekend.
Barbecues, if we're doing them, make sure that we're having the barbecues outdoors with as much space as we possibly can.
Health officials say to be cautious at cookouts.
Stay 6 feet away from anyone so you have the physical distancing.
That's become an issue in Roswell, Georgia, a suburb of Atlanta. Residents there say the Chattahoochee River is a spot where social distancing measures are being ignored.
You can't congregate that many people without having negative consequences to the area.
A Roswell spokesperson says city officials are addressing the issue and police are keeping watch. Perhaps the biggest change this holiday weekend is in the nation's capital. Annual Memorial Day ceremonies at National Park Service sites, including wreath layings, will be online or pre-recorded.
It wasn't a question of are we going to do something or aren't we going to do something. It was a matter of how can we still honor these fallen men and women while at the same time protecting our visitors and folks that might want to come out.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
While Major League Baseball in the 2020 season remains up in the air, Yankee Stadium won't sit empty. A New York hospitality group is planning to turn the stadium's largest parking lot into a drive-in movie theater. It's pretty cool. In addition to putting up the big screen, organizers will pipe in sound through a PA system. Events will range from movie screenings to stand-up comedy to karaoke. To promote social distancing, the cars will also be parked 10 feet apart, and there will be a limit to 200 vehicles at each event. I like that idea. All right, let's get a check of our forecast right now. Todd Clausen standing by from home. TK, what can we expect as we head into our Friday?
You know, we are going to jump from what has been a pretty cool week by mid to late May standards, Lauren, into the heart of what would typically be a very August-like weather pattern over the course of the next few days. And today is the day that we kind of transition into that warm and muggy air mass. So the warmer air is starting to work its way in, and that's why we are dealing with some visibility issues. Here's the view from downtown to the north, and you can kind of see those clouds lowering here across the area this morning. And we do have some areas that are dealing with dense fog. One of those areas is down to the south in Bloomington, only 0.2 of a mile visibility. Cloverdale, 0.5 mile. Crawfordsville inching close to that 1 mile threshold. And then you notice it's reduced in other areas as well. So just be a little bit careful out there on the roadways this morning with the temperatures that range from 52 in Bloomington to 61 in Muncie. 59 is the current reading in Indianapolis. So you may need a light jacket this morning, but you'll be able to shed that jacket pretty quickly, I think, throughout the course of the morning hours. We're dry right now. I can't rule out maybe the chance of a little bit of patchy drizzle as this warmer air starts to move in, but overall we should not get into any significant rainfall throughout the day today. That should all stay down to our south and off to the east. So today we'll start with mostly cloudy skies. We'll thin the clouds for some sunshine this afternoon. We're never getting rid of the clouds today, but they should thin and we'll get into that filtered sunshine and the skies will start to brighten. So you may want to have the sunglasses handy because you may be squinting a little bit more later on today than you will this morning. And as we get into that sunshine, you can't rule out the chance of maybe a stray quick passing shower flaring up, but nothing more than that on this Friday. Now, rain chances will go up over the course of Memorial Day weekend. Tomorrow, 84 degrees. By Memorial Day itself, we're looking at a temperature of 87 with some scattered storms. Now, it is not a washout of a weekend by any means. In fact, this is Saturday on TrueCast. And take a look at this. This is 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Tomorrow, we're dealing with partly cloudy skies. As we get into the peak heating of the day, we'll start to flare up the chance of some isolated showers and thunderstorms. They should be very hit or miss throughout the day tomorrow. And even Sunday, they're probably fairly hit or miss. And then they become a little more numerous as we work our way into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. Just know that none of these days are going to be a complete washout. There's a lot of dry hours mixed in. And look at those temperatures. Hard to believe. Last week we were in the 40s. This week was below normal for the most part. And here we are stringing at least 6 to 7 days in a row, potentially, if you would extend this out to next Friday with high temperatures that will be in the 80s.
All right, Todd, thank you. Looks like a nice week ahead. Well, if you are loving this whole social distancing thing, listen up. NASA is looking for people who are willing to live together with a small crew of their researchers in isolation for 8 months in Moscow, Russia. And they will pay you. They want to come up with ways to limit any problems coming with social isolation and confinement during missions. If you get picked, NASA says you'll experience environmental aspects similar to what astronauts will probably experience on future missions to Mars and the moon. Sounds very interesting. Well, coming up, serving up good times, 1 pint at a time. How one of the area's original craft breweries is welcoming customers back with a fresh look. It's 5:51. You're watching Good Morning Indiana, right here on RTV6.
Make a donation or volunteer today.
As dining rooms open up at restaurants all over the area, many people are ready to head back out for dinner and perhaps a good beer to go with it.
Yeah, so one place with the best of both worlds is down in Greenwood. Brad Brown shows us they've been brewing up success for a long time.
Down in Greenwood, the OB is one of the OGs of Indiana's craft brewing industry.
You know, when this first happened, my brewers were skeptical how much beer they need to brew. Then 2 weeks into it, they were scurrying to make a bunch more beer because we were going through so fast.
Oak and Barrel was able to make the quick adjustment to carry out service only. Now they're welcoming customers back into their dining room, and the vibe is coming back as well.
They're happy. They want to drink beer, and it makes me happy. You know, it's nice to see kind of somewhat of the normalcy, the noise level and the sights of people drinking beer and acting normal is a great feeling.
For more than 25 years, Oak and Barrel has been brewing up some of Indiana's best beers. Owner Quan Casey and his staff were able to weather through the past 8 weeks.
We've done some great marketing, and our regular customers appreciate it. And they come get their growler and 6-packs, and people have been buying kegs and stuff, so we've been good.
The Oak and Barrel team is also giving back to those working on the front lines. Quan has a personal connection, and his generosity has spread throughout the Greenwood community.
I have a daughter who's a nurse at a hospital in Texas. And I don't know what she's going through with ICU units. And I have such a close ties with a Franciscan hospital here in Indy. And I wanted to do something for the nurses. And that kind of started a chain reaction. Other business people say, hey, I'm helping you, I'm helping the nurses. Let me pay for next meal. So we've been doing a lot of meals.
The suds and the smiles are coming back. Hopefully a little more with each week ahead.
I emphasize to my staff and my customers, you know, it's baby steps. We don't want to mess it up. We want to keep the numbers flat and going down so we can continue doing this until we get back to fully, you know, open 100%.
Working for you in Greenwood, Brad Brown, RTV6.
All right, thank you, Brad. As always, looking good down there in Johnson County. Oak and Barrel, great place to grab a drink and or a meal. Temperatures this morning are sitting in the 50s and 60s, depending on where you are. We're dealing with dry conditions, but we're also dealing with a little bit of patchy fog out there. So if you do have to get on the roadways this morning, you will have to contend with that. But as the day goes on, we'll see more and more in the way of filtered sunshine. We're never getting rid of the clouds completely here throughout the day today. But as that sunshine starts to develop, our temperatures today eventually climb up into the mid-70s. We go into the 80s starting tomorrow. And once we get into the 80s, we'll stay there for the foreseeable future, all the way into next week. But with the warmth comes the chance of storms as well. We'll talk more about that coming up here when Good Morning Indiana continues.
All right, Tom, thank you. The COVID-19 pandemic is bringing the necessity for some to learn new skills. Coming up in the next half hour, we'll show you how one man is making it his mission to help Hoosiers. It's 5:57. Stay with us.